Greetings, this is Archangel Lucifer. Greetings to you.
Greetings, Archangel Lucifer. Thank you for coming in. So we're going to discuss the dystopian subject about pedophilia. I think many viewers are kind of know that something's happening around the globe, that maybe they are affected about what's happening in astral. So we can just ask questions maybe and go from there.
Yes, please do.
I've seen a lot of visions, like tapping into the pedophiles, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff because I'm allowed to. And so what kind of beings are they in astral that are incarnated as pedophilians?
What do they look like, you mean, or what is it exactly?
I mean, what kind of beings are they? Like reptilians? What kind of?
A lot of them are archon. Some are reptilian. Actually, some of them are. It's various different beings. A lot of it's archon, though. It's to take the soul essence away, the soul power away. So there is some reptilian connected to it, but it's basically to take over the soul. Really, when it comes down to it, like the ownership of the soul.
Yeah, do they do that individually, or do they gather somehow in astral, like a hive mind?
Yes. Well, there's sacrifices in astral also. The darker side of it, of course. There's darker sides of astral where it's hard to see what's happening there. Like you get easily, like if you see it, you get pulled into it. Not everyone does, but quite a few do.
So what do they do to the souls they capture when you mention that?
You can say they stamp them or they mark them. And the idea is so they can have full control over the soul. So with each incarnation, like if the soul or the person dies, they try to hold on to it as much as possible when it reincarnates. So it's kind of like it's been marked. So if they reincarnate, they try to go after it again, usually.
Oh, so they experiencing many lifetimes or
yeah. So those that like children or anyone that goes through like some kind of abuse, usually it's physical abuse. If they die, they try to keep hold on that soul. So when they incarnate, they want to do the abuse to others and do the same thing, do what has been done to them. Not always that works, but a lot of times it does work.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out if it had like a zombie effect, like if they have been bit, do they like continue doing the same stuff to others? Like if they're being trapped or experiencing pedophilia, they end up doing the same.
Yes, it's not all of them happens this, but quite a few. So they're trying to hold on to the soul as long as they can. So they want to try and make the world into a world of pedophiles, basically, where it comes down to it.
Is there a specific soul group they aim at?
Like alien group?
Yeah,
Palladian.
Yeah, they why do they want the Pleiadian soul group mostly?
It's a wider vibration. You say it's easier to control because they have such a light energy around them, so they can mask it. They can hide it better than others. So they're normally the target. Now, that doesn't mean that those that go through abuse are going to become abusers. A lot of times they can clear it out throughout their lifetime. But it all depends on the situation, especially if they end up, if it like ruins their whole life, they can come back again. But if they find a way to heal it in this life, most likely they won't have the tendency they won't be pulled into it.
Okay. So I also see that there are some other souls that are more protected than others from this stuff. Like if they are, touched, they will like trigger a chain of reaction. Like, so is it somehow you can sign soul contracts and not be able to be affected by it?
Well, I mean, like mentally affected by it, or
mentally or in physically also. Like mentally, I know, because there are a lot of people that are not like paying attention to it. It must be so far away from their soul contracts as possible.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah. For those that don't have any interaction with it at all, they can. And that's almost psychotic too in some regard. I mean, not that those are ignoring it as psychotic, but the way it's being done is that it's not being looked at. It's blocked. Yeah, there's an energy block there. It's like if you're not involved with it, you're blocked out. It's another way to keep it hidden. So it's kind of done. It's not necessarily just because the soul contract is that they want to keep it hidden, the beings that are doing this. So it's like it doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it's like, their world is being hijacked, tried to be hijacked, and they're not even paying attention because on the soul level, they're so happy it doesn't happen to them, and so they can look away, but still, in some regard, it's like the shadow wave is either way haunting them, or it's getting closer. So
you can say those that aren't affected by it, there's like a wall there to keep it, as I said, secret. So they're used also to keep it hidden. So everyone's involved with it in some form or another.
So how do one gets to free the soul? How do we, how does the zombie effect stop? How do we free the soul? We as the ones who try to free the souls, or make people aware of this problem, and how can, I see in my vision there's souls being counted, like I understood that they were counting how many soul was getting free tonight, and that was by either death, right, when the person is dying by the pedophile actions here, they're also free in astral. Which, can you tell more about that?
Well, we want to add first that, so the way this works is, think of like the world is on different levels, different channels, like on the television, or like, you have channel 8, channel 7. So everything's done on a different level. So it's kept away. So pedophilia is on one channel and hidden by the other. It's like it has a password to get to it. It's like it's blocked off from the rest of the world. So blocked off. Like if like on a TV, like you look for the channel, you can't find it. Like if you channel surf, you can't find it. Now if you look for it, you can find, oh wait, that channel is blocked, or there's fuzz there, or something's there. So that's kind of how it works, how it's hidden.
So it's done on purpose from astral. So people will just
tune it out.
Ignore it.
How can you tune into something when you can't see it?
Interesting.
So it's like a hidden realm. It's like almost like a pocket dimension in some regard. So how to heal this is speaking about it carefully, because you don't want to scare people away from the subject matter, but it's, as you know, as you adjust to it, and when you focus on it, it's there. You have to kind of investigate to even find it, because it's so well hidden. So it's,
but when you find a channel, the channel is so big. You have the military, you have the lobbyists, the politician system, the internet. You have the sex industry, celebrities. You have, I mean, you have the religion side, school system. Everybody is doing it. I mean, not everybody's doing it. I mean, there's so many in those sections that are doing that can. I mean, do they? It looks like there's a system, like a hierarchy of the statue there.
Yes, it goes, obviously, it goes to the sex industry very easily. So even those that, so this is how it works though. Even those that aren't aware of their abuse, like they leave the earth, I mean, they're aware of it, but then they leave the earth and reincarnate. A lot of them go into the sex industry that have been through abuse.
I didn't find
they're not
that
remembering,
much
of course,
on the subject on the internet, but there's a lot of things on YouTube, and I mean, what is interesting? What is Gaia's? She accepted for the pedophilia to kind of evolve itself here. Is it like so the humans can have a disclosure, like it is they're trapped in this thing too? Yes. Because I know in the incarnation cycle in astral is pretty hard to go through. You have to evolve, and basically if you're a pedophilian you can't evolve, so you're basically trapped here forever. So
well, this is on other worlds also, as you know. So it was brought to this world, you say, to expose it, because there are other planets that are very positive where this still happens. And of course, they don't believe it because they're in a more happier frequency. It doesn't happen on all planets, but there are a lot of them where they have a happier frequency. And then other beings realize it's there, then it's easier to see it because it's because of their frequency, they can expose it. But on this world, it's a little bit different because it's more like a militarized planet.
Yeah.
So it's, as you know, the military, yes, is built, not the public military, but the shadow military is designed to keep it all secret, of course. Using alien technologies to keep it hidden. And of course, it's done underground for the most part. Argentina is one place where it's done. Of course, there's places Brazil, South America has quite a bit. It's all through the world, of course, but.
So, I mean, I know there are these kids that are being trafficked. They also have chip inside them, so you can actually see it on screens when they move.
Yeah, so there are children that are taken and then brought back. So they're not meant to have the full experience. So, but it is an Archon agenda when it really comes down to it. It's reptilian to an extent, but it's more, the reptilians more hide it, but it's more the Archons are it's just like, this is how you take over a planet. You take it to its lowest level. And now this has been here, versions of Earth before your version of Earth. I mean, it's part of your, it was before your Atlantean energies where this has been done. This was a slave planet where that was very normal. It was healed, but not completely, as you can see.
Yeah.
So
it's getting back.
Yeah, so you can say it never really left.
Okay.
It always has a presence here. So that's the why it's so hard to remove it when something's been here for so long.
Yeah, now it's like up to the children are the highest commodity around businessmen, and they're using media and stuff they're not even hiding it. I mean, what happened to when the internet started to be popular is that a lot of these passive pedophilians started to be more aggressive and online and showing their sides, which I think was one of the plans Guy also agreed to make them, let's make room for them here to, play off. It's kind of harsh to the souls that actually experiencing it can actually, I mean, I can imagine being in. I mean, I've seen and I read so many stories and I listened to so many stories about child trafficking, and it's pretty dark.
Yes,
And then it's it's not what everybody can listen to because
no.
it's so
Mm-mm.
so.
Well, you're now the day-to-day business, like business in general, like corporations. The whole reason people have to get up and go to work and do it's like a cycle to keep human trafficking hidden. So your day, so people are so focused on their day-to-day, it's difficult to see what's truly going on here. It's done on purpose.
Any
So
advice
that an easy one though. It's
from Lucifer?
I mean to well because they're just to research it
Yeah,
yourselves to bring it to light to it to recognize it exists
yeah.
to ask
So I
for
was
answers.
really proud of having this RH negative blood type. I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm special. And then I heard that actually the blood type RH negative, there are a lot of pedophilia. I mean, most of the pedophilians have the blood type. And then it was not so special anymore. Which, I mean, there, even though not everybody is pedophile that has it though.
Yeah, it's not always a blood type. I mean, it can be, but it's not. It has to do with the abuse that happens. So they're just it's it's basically a timeline that that agreed to. Really, when it comes down to it, some souls have lost soul love. They have no love for themselves. Some have lost care for themselves. So to go through this is to them, they feel like this actually brings meaning to their life.
Yeah, I know. I've seen. I mean, I even seen documentaries about virtues, and there are the ones that are not uh, doing anything, and you have like different type of pedophiles over to the misopeds that are sadistic. You can't even find anything about them on the internet. I mean, you can do it on the dark web probably, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't go
everything's
there.
on. Yeah, everything's on there.
Um. So. Um.
So
Uh,
the of course religion, all religions, or anything that's developed as religions, there to hide it also. Now it doesn't mean that all religions are bad, but there is religion is used to hide it, as you know. So
yeah.
yeah, because there's good within all religions, but there's also a darkness that can be very sinister. Six says sex cults is another version of the pedo cults, basically.
Mm.
It's the sex cults we've one was just captured recently is to groom to create that to get people addicted to sexual endeavors to get addicted to sex. That's why movies have it a lot too, to get you addicted to sex also.
Yeah, that's a probably one good trigger. But I also heard that one of the triggers, I mean, this, I mean, in the epigenetic or inside the human is sound waves. Like
Yes.
that's how they actually trigger pedophilian DNA.
Yeah.
So, what can you say? Can you say something more about that?
Well, it happens when they need more darkness on the planet and need more, like you can be targeted to do something, like if they want, like if they want a parent or a relative to act on a child, yeah, they can activate an energy field. Now's the time to go for them, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and some relatives have no idea they have it in them. All of a sudden, they have these urges out of nowhere. But once again, they were part of that system already. They're
Yeah,
already.
yeah,
It just have not been activated. I know it's
yeah.
terrible, but it's true. Such as parents have brothers or sisters, and they end up going after their children. It's like that's uncle, whoever it is.
Yeah,
No
that's
predator.
like, I mean, 20% of the stories I
Yes.
have read is either an uncle or a relative. And but in the statistic, it's 1 to 6 people will have experience of some sort, and 90% of those cases are of the people we know. I mean, relatives.
Yeah, so normally, yeah, because once again, the relative self normally has no clue they have those urges, and so they're in the situation.
So the sound waves that are kind of interesting. What kind of sound waves are they? They're like frequencies, gamma, delta, from astral? Is it from specific alien being or from the other pedophilians?
They can be from can come, yes, from within the earth. It's other pedophilians. It's even technology, just modern technology can be used. So you're interesting though. Your average news broadcaster.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have that? I mean, you don't have to watch it to feel the frequencies coming from it.
But
You
how
have
can
to have
you
anything to
stop
do with
it?
it.
Do you have like a built within system that can block it, or is it like once it's activated, it's
Well, you
no?
can block the urges. Yeah, you can just shut that down.
Yeah.
So this isn't me, and shut
Yeah.
it down easily if you want to. But some can't handle it. They can't help it.
Yeah.
They have an addiction problem. Those that have addiction problems are very easy to fall into that realm.
So if you, I mean, you can. Ugh, that's so
yeah,
much.
it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
I mean,
Your god, the god that you're going to just mention, the one that triggers
Moloch. I mean,
Moloch. Yeah, he plays a
Moloch.
big role in this. Yeah.
Yeah, Moloch is the entity, for those who don't know, which they sacrificed these children to.
In the past.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's who is Moloch from your perspective?
I mean, Moloch is like a devil within himself. Basically, it's just a selfish creature that wants souls to be under his control. You say Moloch is a part of why humans are under a hypnotic vibration to begin with. It was part of the beginning when humans are being sacrificed to Moloch and other gods, actually. Just the human sacrifice brought in more of your physical third dimension. So it made this place more dense. For sacrificing animals is bad enough as it was. That caused a lot of difficulty. But when the humans are sacrificed, made things even worse. So
Yeah.
you don't want to sacrifice anything to anyone.
So is it a myth, or is it true that they actually sacrifice these children to take the what's the substance from the brain, adrenochrome?
Yes,
Is it?
that's true. Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yes.
does it have an effect that they are searching
Yeah.
for, or is it more do?
It's in certain children, like Palladian children, where it's the strongest, but it's within many other children. Yeah, star children, crystal children. Yeah.
So then, those who take the adrenochrome, do they have a better connection to astral, or is it, or do they, are they getting younger, or what is the purpose for doing this?
Well, it's another form of the elite to control other elite, the lower elite, basically, musicians, politicians. It's like when to hypnotize them. And
Yeah,
sometimes they're not even aware they're being injected by it.
strange.
So, yeah, it just makes their soul less control over itself. So other beings can control them.
Yeah, so I saw this strange clip about with the Madonna dancing around, singing to a brush, singing fried fish. There's no more pasta, which is quite kind of absurd. I mean, it was bizarre. And when I found out what the symbolic, because they talk to each other through symbolics. So yeah, I understood that there are a lot of in our pop culture and culture that are into this without even us knowing it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens all the time. Yeah, it's all these distractions that keep away from the human trafficking energy, because the human trafficking shuts down timelines. We used to see them for future and the past. So they know what kind of showed them to grab also to lower the Earth's vibration. Certain ones can do certain frequencies.
So this is about to be better, I heard. I mean, the control.
As it's mentioned, more and healed, and it
More
can only
healed.
last so long.
Yeah.
Your technology, you say that your internet, yes, kind of increased it, but can also be used to stop it. So just using your energy, using your awareness, using your healing abilities, really wanting a better timeline for everyone.
Well, who creates this stupid law? Like, if they pedophilians do this nasty stuff, they ever hardly see it more than maybe 1 or 2 years in prison, or they evoke the fifth commandment, or what do you call it in the States, like, and they go free, just pay small amount of money to those who, I mean,
yeah, so they can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, who creates this law? Like,
Supreme Court, if I can see.
Can one change it, or is it created so because those in charge are also
the court systems have to be cleared out. Your news organizations should really be retired. That would help out a lot of things. The court systems, it's like a shadow court that's never really mentioned, because a lot of your Supreme Court are pretty much sold out. So somebody owns them. Obviously, they're not going to admit it. They never will.
Of course not.
They live pretty good, decent lives, and they're who's the biggest sellout basically becomes a part of the Supreme Court usually. There's a lot of denial on that, obviously. So it really comes down to the court systems. Really, it comes the highest court. Now, the Supreme Court's in every high court in all countries of the world.
Is it a overlord in Nashville, like a pedophile overlord? There is. Wow. Can you say something about that?
They themselves have lost their souls. But to them, this is normal now. It's like that's all they think about is how many souls can they take over. They don't think of it as a wrong.
They're counting them too, like they're counting on their side.
And they see absolutely nothing wrong with what they're doing. To them, it's normal.
They'll just cattle, basically.
Yeah, they'll just make they'll make their reasoning why they did what they do. They'll just show humans how flawed they are, and they're no better. So in their own way, such as consuming, how they consume food, things like that with animals. They use that against humans, but it's still nothing. Well, of course, they created that too, slaughters and all that. That's all linked to human trafficking, really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't know that every thread that I was going through, the infrastructure of everything was leading me to child trafficking. That was the shadow. I mean, the shadow infrastructure.
Yes.
And everything actually led to that. Like, if you search for it, there's straits everywhere. And I mean, it's kind of out there. They don't even hide it anymore. They're not hiding. They're actually pretty proud, because you have a normal criminal. They don't go around and like tell you that they're doing their criminal actions, but pedophilians, they just create movies and create, I mean, they're out there sharing they have even status among themselves. which is kind of absurd. But
well, the elites, yeah, those are involved. Not all elites are involved, but well, there is some kind of awareness of it. But some are truly involved with. That's their job. Is yeah, how many children they can or people they can harvest. Unfortunately.
so how many years are we going to? I mean, how long will it last? Like, can somebody take out their overlord and like, does the house of cards fall or what is it?
It's happening slowly now. I mean, even Hollywood is kind of exposing itself a little bit
Yeah.
every now and then. So it's like the ones that are being victimized by it are the ones that should be exposing it. So there is some allowances there where it becomes more part of the mindset of what's going on here. Right now, it's kept so secret still that most people don't even believe it exists.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
have
happens to
argued
them.
with people that are saying that a Pizzagate does not exist and that it's debunked because they're reading, of course, they're Googling their answer.
Mhm,
They
of course.
didn't go to the dark web or seeing the stuff themselves. I tried to show a person once a video clip that was with the John Podesta.
Mhm.
He was actually angry at me because I showed him this and saying that I was the problem.
No, no. There's
Basically,
notice in sports, it's high ranking. So people that become high ranking, wealthy, they kind of lose the thrill in life when everything works for them. So, they drink all the booze, even some have done drugs. So they get vices. And if it turns into sexual vices, it can get, they push the envelope to that. So they create it on their own. So,
I
and
know.
the tendencies are put there, the pressure is put there, but they can ignore it and just not go that direction. But some they usually already have it in them, usually. So,
So how do okay, we're mentioning how they are created in astral like a zombie effect, right? But then we have how do you get rid of this soul scan once you full bloom pedophile spirit? I mean, you have to kill the soul, right? You can't heal it from this because you're, I don't know, you
not
have
easily.
input on it, not easily.
Well, it depends on how bad it. Yeah, for pedophile, yeah, to kill the soul, would be the easiest, quickest.
And
Because
also to get rid of them on Earth will be like to
that's
get
the
rid of the
thing.
artifacts and their houses, their stuff.
Yeah, some people are doing drugs and not realizing that they can be pulled into the pedophile timeline without even realizing it. That's a that's not everybody, but quite a few can't. Alcohol, bars.
Yeah.
It just
Taking a trip to Thailand.
they
Yeah.
can open. It's just they can open themselves. They have no idea what they're opening themselves up to. So bars should be healed. Alcohol should be removed from the planet.
But isn't it that's why the Gaia, Earth has this also made place for this to kind of so people can see it?
Yes,
Like,
correct. Mm-hmm.
The internet has been brought to humans before time,
Mm-hmm.
and the result of the internet, there's so many things that happened. You can see a big uh, increase in pedophilia stuff after the internet. As mentioned, the passive
Mm-hmm.
pedophilians just
Mm-hmm.
saw their way of shining. I don't know.
Well, even during the ancient times when the pyramids were activated, at least in the wrong way, using a negative way, that's when that timeline began again. The war astral opened up and human traffic, human sacrifice, things like that was empowered, you can say.
Yeah.
So
I didn't search for pedophilia through Egypt. I just read Plato, which was a philosopher. He said that he thought this was sick in mind, what he saw, like, because the pedophilia stuff was in his time. So, I mean, wasn't it something Hitler also tried to take away? I mean, the interaction between the man and the boy, especially.
you say that, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, why are people? Why are they? How do I translate this in my brain? Why do people direct the subject to you in somehow when they do this stuff, like through rituals?
Or to hide it, to give them power of how to do it better, to give them power, like superhuman power over people. So yeah, it just took this child's power away. Oh my God, what do I do with it? So yeah, it truly is a power trip.
So you have to see a lot of stuff. You actually don't want to see it, like to lower your vibration, or what is it? It's like they're throwing, like when they do these rituals.
Yes, they're trying.
They are calling you in, summoning you, right?
Yes, they're trying to conceal what they're doing. So people are afraid of Lucifer, so they call Lucifer to call in darkness, which is created by Lucifer. The dark devil is created mostly by the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So that leads you to, religion of hiding what's going on.
Yeah, the Vatican, basically.
And they're well aware of it, of course, in the Vatican. It's like, how can we keep it secret? Why does this keep leaking out? What are we doing wrong?
Yeah,
that's it being, they don't want it exposed, as you can tell.
Yeah.
They just want to keep it quiet.
The politicians, especially.
Yes, politicians also, and corporations too. Unfortunately, those corporations that advertise to children also, they're showing, that's a hive, the haven for pedophilia. It's the tools for the pedophile realms or society that's in your society. As using cartoons to pull in children, things like that. Yeah. Corporation. There's several, not just one, but there's one main one, but there's several others. So yeah.
Yeah, you have toys too, Toys R Us. You have like there's a lot of, it's everywhere actually if you pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know how much it was until I actually dived into it, and I'm kind of shocked that others can't see it, or they are like you said, not paying attention because they are kind of.
Well, when the truth comes out more, some of these major corporations won't be allowed to even exist anymore. It's blocked so easily. People look the other way. So there is possible timelines where these major corporations are being exposed.
Yeah, I hope.
But it's society also. Is society ready to recognize it instead of looking the other way? Society can look towards it more. They just choose to do the other one.
I just felt that also before I did this challenge with you, that some of the names just magically disappeared from my brain.
Yeah, of course.
And I felt so exhausted, even though I had so much energy. It's like they knew I was doing this, basically. Just I didn't feel them coming into my field, just the words. And I mean, the frequency of my brain is slower, which is kind of strange. I usually don't have that. And so it was like, wow, like only they can just switch on my frequency. And I'm like,
Yeah, well, they know they have to expose themselves every once. They have to put truth out there every once in a while, which they do. That's not very heard very often, but
How many pedophilians are they on Earth? Like, if you count in percentage, like living percentage.
well, I would, instead of doing percentages, say billions.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
billions.
just leave it at that.
Billions on I mean, how many kids are being trafficked? Like millions?
Well, it's not just traffic, it's just targeted. I mean, you don't have to have a trafficked child to be still under its program. Anything child advertising, children's programming, it's all
Mm.
pedophile linked. There's a linkage to it. So, unfortunately, something so innocent is not so innocent usually. So, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a lot to
Yes.
sink in. But I mean, you just gave us like the dark numbers here. Then I feel like, oh, is there something we can do?
Well, society has to change dramatically. Well, like a corporation like Disney should be, you know,
Taking out?
closed down. Exposed would be a better word for it, actually, for what it really is.
Yeah, I know the symbolic Disney is
Yes,
I don't feel it what they use in,
it's their hideout. It's where they hide behind.
yeah.
So many are actually here to heal those timelines. They're not always thinking about doing it. It's not on, but they are. They don't want it here to begin with. So be surprised how many people here are here fighting against it. It's just not on the mind all. It's because it can be very heavy. But so
I mean, once I started this, I just
yeah.
can't stop do the research on this.
Yes, it's part of your. Well, you can stomach it too.
Yeah, I
Not many
mean,
can stomach it. Mhm.
I just can't. I can go through so much material, and it does not affect me.
Mm, that's good. Yeah, whatever, what anyway. But just some people have researched it. Just Jesus, they'll have to take in. As you
I
know.
think they still should redo the research and talk to others about it and see how they operate. Basically, when you buy your stuff for your kid, probably the money goes into the hands of the pedophilians. So
Yeah, usually when it's children merchandise, even toys, unfortunately, it's
yeah,
all
I've seen some.
it's
Yeah.
all connected to them. Really, when it gets down to, I mean, like building blocks are pretty simple, and those are not likely anything that's basic, like a basic just entertainment for a kid. You like playing cards; those are usually okay. But when it's like specifically made for a child, like a little funny toy on the shirt and all that, that's programming.
Yeah, I know.
Anything looks like programming. That's why television shows are programming, unfortunately.
So basically, we're in the world where we have this everywhere, and there's nothing we can do to look away. Basically, we are also trapped in one person can't do anything, right?
No, you
To
need a lot of, society has to truly allow this to be exposed. And this is, I mean, you have your aliens that people want to come through, but the human trafficking is, say, more important. Um, it makes it easier for aliens to interact with humans if humanity is willing to look deeper into not just themselves, but into society. What is it hiding? At least the corporations, what are they hiding? Who's once
yeah,
again trouble with them? It doesn't always, I mean, it can be a software company too hiding it also. It doesn't have to be something that's connected to children advertising. It can be just your random corporation. So like IBM, things like that.
yeah. I just had this was like a channeling that is like, I mean, I didn't want to go into the hard stuff. I didn't want to mention the things that I know that are beyond people's understanding about how a person or a being can be like that. Well, there's a lot of information about that on, specifically on YouTube, which could be good for anyone to just look into. And I don't think I have much more about. I could go into details, but I don't think there is any use for that, because I mean,
people got the idea.
yeah, you can get banned from.
Yeah, it can get quite dark, but yes.
Yes. So
Let's just keep it general overall.
yeah, I had to do that.
It just, there's a dark side to a lot, society. It's not on the surface, not everything is bad, but within the military, there is a darker side too.
Yeah, many of the victims actually mentioned military figures that are up in the system, politicians that they're being trafficked from. They were 6 years old and they were chained to butcher blocks. They were killed. How they dispose of their body. Oh,
well, they also
connect them in the acids.
Yeah, they use spiritualism also to hide it. You find spiritual psychics to hide a lot of this also. So yeah, it's very sophisticated. Even they use spiritual people to say, "Oh, we're here to expose it," when they're actually not here to expose anything. Prolong it, more like it. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, I understand that. So thank you for coming in, and I hope we could hear from you from another subject.
Of course. Blessings.
Yeah, blessings.